Hey, this is MassX with a brand new Bleach Soul Reaper video. And yeah, I did not think I would like this game as much as I am. I have just gotten literally addicted to it. Yes, if you saw my first video, I was like, well, they sucked me in. Maybe it's because it's the Bleach characters, but that's for another discussion for another day. I'm in the process of creating a tier list. I'm trying to acquire most characters so I can test them out to do a very accurate one. But right now I want to talk about the characters that you should really be looking at early game if you choose to play this game. So a lot of them are going to come to you, and that's what's going to be important, okay? And those ones that you are able to get the shards for free and by following through with your dailies. And that's something I want to state really quickly. When a game tells you what you need to do daily, and in this game, activity is one of those areas. There's two different ones. Follow that format. It will help you progress quicker. There's a reason that they do these games, okay? It's important. If you want to build your account faster and more efficiently, do these. So if it tells you to do Hollow Invasion 2 times, do it. You know, Dojo Challenge and so on. Do all that. Not only are you getting resources, you're getting extra experience, and it's the best way to quickly level your account. And that also goes with the clear the quests area. It resets, and every time you finish it, you get character shards of that particular character pictured. So when that one clears, you will get another one. Do this. Some of them overlap, and in the other area I just showed you, do it. It will help progress your account so much faster. But back to the characters, okay? I went ahead and pulled on the first limited banner. As you can see right there, the madman himself, Captain Yamamoto. But one of the things you have to keep in mind in this game is it's really important. Most characters, most characters, if not all, I don't know, maybe I'm confusing myself, come in at 3 stars, okay? You really need them at 4 stars. That's where you get the next big push on these characters in 5 stars and 6 stars. But really, the sweet spot is 4 stars to start right now in this game. So going after a character like Yamamoto could be a very big waste of time and resources and money if you can't keep building him. So I want to talk about the characters that are easier to get. And one of those is Soifon. You're going to be able to acquire shards of Soifon easier. And that's one of the other things I like about this game. There are shards in all aspects of this game, and it's really important to pay attention to where those shards are located, because you can get some of the best characters in the game through certain areas, and I will talk about that more in my tier list, like Unohana, who is absolutely phenomenal, but it's going to take time and effort to build her up. But you can get her shards in game. You don't have to go spend money, only if you want to expedite that. So back to Soifon, I digress. This character is easier to get. Solid single DPS character. She will hold the line for you. And in another one who is not necessarily a great character, Mayuri, okay? But he will help you early game if you can get enough shards for him. Why? Front line. Because of his regeneration, he can get killed, he comes back. It will help your front line. But that is one thing that I have found very important in this game, is a true tank. And there's a few of them offered up right now. And when you start the game, Chad is going to be your initial option. He's fine to start with. Don't over invest in him, okay? But there's going to be other characters that can do it better as you slowly progress. And one of the other things that's nice in this game is there is reset in this game on a character. So if you do overinvest in a character, they do have the character reset pills. And that's a nice fallback to have. But early game, you never should be overinvesting until you're sure of where you're going with your team. But to me, Ishin really is, to me, one of the best options early on. You can get his shards fairly easily, build him up. You don't have to overinvest in him. And he shields, he blocks well, he can hold damn well on that front line. So I do recommend, if you get enough of his shards, to move forward with him. To me, he's better than even Mayuri, but Mayuri is a nice option to have because he can die and come back, which does help, but of course that is going to be exponential to how high you build him up. So to me, the more bang for your buck is of course Ishin. And another character that you're going to be able to get a fair amount of shards for, who's going to help you out offensively. And to me, this is going to be the double tandem for most people, especially free-to-play players. After they get past a certain area and get enough shards, is going to be Gin to go along with Soifon. He does great offense, has the poison based on where you get him built up. But before that point, you're probably looking at more your regular SSRs over SSR pluses. And to me, hands down, Rukia was the best of the SSRs for me in really playing through game content. I literally did not remove her from my main team until hours ago from doing this video. She literally was a mainstay on there. Why? Because she's easy to build, she does good damage, and she has the ability to freeze. And that can go a long way when you're going through harder levels to be able to stop a character for a round. Hopefully you can kill them. It goes so far. As good as Ichigo Kurosaki is, he's a glass cannon. Does great offense, but he can get killed and can get killed quickly. So you have to keep that in mind. And another thing you have to keep in mind when you're picking your characters is who you have the ability to release their bankais, okay? If you can't release the bankai for a character and you can for another one, sometimes based on what those characters can do, if it's similar, you want to go with the one that can release the bankai because it's a big improvement to your damage and your skill set. So for instance, Ichigo's fine both ways, pre, release, and after. But after, he's just freaking great. Rukia, same thing. Rukia is still solid without it, and she's an SSR, so it's easier to build. But pay attention to what swords you get, because a lot of them are going to be by fragments. And so look in your inventory periodically and see which ones you can make once you have enough fragments, because that may also base your choice on what character you go with early game, mind you. So again, to me, Rukia and Ichigo for SSRs are definitely solid DPSs to start with, and don't be afraid to invest in those characters. Chad, for a while, you can work with as a tank, and then you're going to have to pick and choose. I really don't think the rares and the SRs, for the most part, hold ground long enough early game. You're going to have to phase those out quicker rather than later into positions of hopefully SSRs, as well as some SSR pluses as you gain enough of those shards. But once you do, then you're going to have a set 6, and you really don't want to focus on any other characters, because honestly, resource management is quite king in this game. You have a lot of ways to build a character in this game. So what you're going to see right here is you're going to have rank. Okay, so that's a way to level up your character. You don't get a huge amount of resources for that. You've got your level. So based on your current level in the game, you can take your character up. Again, don't get a ton of resources for that. Stars, starring up your character, you get a good amount of build up, which you would expect. So acquiring those character pieces is important. Skills, same thing. You don't get a ton when you look at it incrementally in between each level, so keep that in mind. Combos, very important in game, so you get more damage on your characters when you do combo attacks, but don't overinvest in it. doesn't push a lot. And right now in early game, I don't think it's where the focus should be. That's why you'll never see mine. They're all like between 30 and early 40. I slowly have been building those up. And then I haven't reached team level 6 yet to discuss that. Weapons is the area you really don't want to sleep on. One of the most important things you can do is releasing the Bankai for your character, which you would expect. Enhancement is helpful. You don't have to go crazy on it. It's not huge gains. Stars does do a fair amount of gains. The release is the most important out of all of it. The medals do help a lot. As you can see, at 40, I'm getting almost a 30% attack increase and 30% HP increase. So that is an area to push. And this one is probably the medal advances, the one where you're going to see a most bang for your buck. Because I've only done it twice for this character, and look where it's at, already at 30%. If I do it again, of course, I'm going to need a ton of resources. It's going to go up to, look at that. I'm going to have an attack push of 50% and an HP push of 15%. Plus, when you open up this, it's going to do this advancement achieved. And the first time you do it, you're going to get an HP and attack push of another 15%. That is an area that you should focus on when you can, when you're sure about a character. Refinement isn't open yet. I'm one level away. I'll be able to discuss that in a future video. But yeah, I just wanted to bring this up because it's still early game for a lot of people. There's a lot going on with these characters and a lot of different areas to focus on. But what is going to be key is getting yourself enough SR and SSR characters for your main 6, and that should be your only focus out of the gate. A tank is going to be incredibly helpful. A few DPS, a support or two, there you go. Don't overly invest, especially if you're free to play. Go based off of the release that you can do for Bankai. That will help you so much on your characters and your progression because you're going to be able to do so much more. I'm going to be doing a separate video tier list as I discussed, even though I hate tier lists. I really want to delve into these characters because I think they did a very good job, whoever set this up, developed it back in the original version, about having some very interesting and dynamic skill sets that I think are going to be a lot of fun to play. I'm also going to be a separate video getting more into the challenge areas. There is some really fun areas in here that I want to focus on, in particular the real-time PvP, which also has absolutely great free prizes to get, and you should be playing that. Really, most of their areas do, and I want to focus on each one because there's strengths and weaknesses to all and the progression rate. But the key is you need to do it because you're going to get yourself a lot of valuable resources in this game. So with that, as always, please like and subscribe. It helps a lot. Have a great day.